Hey there, it is Alex with Porsche of Austin. Today we are going to do the Macan setup. So I grabbed a Macan S and we're going to start. First things first, as long as you have the key on you, you can come up to this door handle and stick your hand in. There's a sensor and it notices your hand is there and it should open. In order to lock, you just push, there's a little, I don't know if you could see it, but on this section, as long as you have the key on your person, you can just press that and it will lock the car. So we're gonna get in the car. All right. So what we're gonna do is start on this main screen. So here we go. The top left buttons over here, these are kind of like your home row keys. These keys right here are going to always be available no matter what application you're on over here. Sometimes you'll see them minimize, and then as you bring your hand closer, they reappear. So let's start going through them one by one. The main thing is, a lot of folks see this navigation screen and they don't know where to start. So at the very top left, there's a little search button right here, and you can come in, type in whatever road it is or whatever destination it is, and it should start bringing it up. So let me know if you have any questions about that. It's pretty simple, should be similar to what you've probably used in the past. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get to a little bit better place for the sun. Let's see. All right. So you just type in whatever it is, and then you press start, and it. So for example, we're going to go with. So there's Porsche Central Austin. And then over here, you just press start route guidance. So every time she talks, if it's not loud enough, you can turn it up.
The route is being calculated.
See how that just happened? When she was talking, I turned up the navigation, and it appeared, it said navigation volume. Next, we're gonna come over to media. For example, this is Sirius Radio. See this tab right here? This tab right here will allow you to switch different sources. So you can go to FM, or you can come over to Sirius Radio. And as you see, you can come to list. A lot of folks try to figure out how to do Sirius Radio, so they can't figure out where their station is. If you come to list, and then you come to channel list, you can kind of go through every single one, and then you can do this little number right here. So you can find one you like, hold it down, and that said it added it to your channel favorites. So in that regard, if you come to your faves, you're gonna have a bunch of different options up here. So here we are on a FM station. You're always gonna find the little star at the bottom. That star, just added it to your favorites page. Your favorites page is gonna be found right here. So these are the different ones I've been adding. Pretty simple, pretty intuitive. So next, we will come down to phone. So in order to set up a phone, you've got to make sure that your phone is in the Bluetooth page. Now you'll see it says you are now discoverable. Mine is discoverable as iPhone. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to search for new phone. There's Alex's iPhone. And it says pair. And then since this is your car, you can press allow contacts and favorites sync. For me, it's not my car, so I'm not gonna allow it. But now anyway, it's still gonna connect. And then it says right here, Apple CarPlay, I am going to press Apple CarPlay. And then I'm going to press accept. And then I'm going to go to use Apple CarPlay. You have to technically turn on your Wi-Fi for it to work wirelessly. After you enable the Apple CarPlay, you're going to see that this square over here, when you touch it, it's going to say use Apple CarPlay. And you just press use Apple CarPlay and it should pop up every single time. Let me know if it doesn't. You shouldn't have any problems. You could possibly go into devices just to make sure you see this little green plus sign. It means that Apple CarPlay is enabled. So as long as that's green, you should be able to connect. And you come back over here, hit that, and here we go. And if you want to come to sound next, the sound tab, we can balance out your car's sound wherever you want it to hit. You can also come to the tone, and you can press this minus sign to decrease the bass, or you can just drag that bass and kind of figure out where you want it. I'd say definitely have a good clean radio station or a clean song on so you can actually hear the treble and the bass going. Next is the Bose system. Typically we recommend to have the surround Sirius XM checked and the sound true Sirius XM checked. And right now it's bringing up all the Sirius stuff because we're in the Sirius tab. Once you go to FM, it's going to ask similar questions, but it's going to give the FM sound because you might want that a little bit different than the way you hear Sirius XM. Next is the volume. Kind of gives you access to navigation announcements and other message tones and things that you may want or not want on while you're operating your vehicle. Next is that little devices page. We saw that earlier. Everything looks good. You see the green pluses. If you don't have an Apple phone, then you will simply just use Bluetooth, and that's just setting it up like we originally did, and you don't have to worry about all the Apple CarPlay setup. At the moment, there's not an Android setup for this car. Next is settings. In settings, you can do a number of different things. Vehicle settings, I'm sorry. And in the vehicle settings, you can control things like locking. Oh, there's a little back button. I just clicked too forward. Door unlocking, selection of the doors that are unlocked via the locking system. So right now it's just set to driver's door. You can change it to all doors, or you can keep it at driver's door. You can have the mirrors fold in when you lock it. You can also have the comfort entry adjusted if you select that on. So that means that when you get in, your steering wheel and your seat position will pretty much open up and back up a little bit so that it's easier to get in and out of your car. And that's in the locking setting. Next is light and visibility. Exterior lights, you can tell it how long you want the lights to stay on. You can actually select it and change it from 10 seconds to 20 to 30, and then they'll fade out. The high beam assist, you can have that on and off, and that'll be a part of the auto high beams. It'll turn itself off whenever a car is coming, or it notices that there's enough light on the road. Rear wiper, that'll automatically engage when you engage the front wiper, and you turn on your lights. Next is your climate and heating settings. So you can come in here and you can actually adjust the airflow. Most people don't understand this part of it because they never have to dabble into it because they're not from Texas. But here in Texas, we typically turn it to strong. I don't know if you can hear it, but it just tuned up, and we're at the same exact setting that we were earlier, which is a couple bars up from the top, but then I can change it back to regular and it tunes down just a bit. So depending on how you like your AC, you can come in and play with that. Next, we're going to come to displays. You can actually adjust the display brightness right in here. It's pretty simple, like a phone. You can come in, adjust it like we were doing the bass earlier, and it's not too bad. And next is the system. So this is where you can come in and adjust your date and time units, voice control settings, and and software updates if there are any. The voice control setting is going to work in tandem with this button right here. If you have it connected to your iPhone or it's on Apple CarPlay, you simply just hold this down and it's gonna bring up Siri. You're gonna hear that little Siri announcement that she's there, and you can let her know what you want to do. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the car button. Inside the car button, you have your control, trip, and chrono timing. Inside the control button at the top, you'll see that you have vehicle settings, display settings, system settings, and owner's manual. You can actually click into that, and it's going to have a lot of good stuff, different video instructions, and other tabs that you might be interested in. I'm going to use the back button up top, and you can physically go in and do the same stuff we were doing earlier, but it's just a different quick page to get to them right from the car menu. Here are the apps page. The weather app is really sophisticated. It's on. You can come in here and see exactly what your city looks like, and it should pick up where you're at based on your navigation. News is here, legal info, gas station info, hotel info, parking info. It's got a lot of good stuff here. So play with it however you'd like. Most folks stay off of this while they're driving. I do recommend only do it when you're stopped, but it's pretty fun stuff. It's a lot of good information at your hands right here on your touchscreen. So looks like we've gone over a lot of the main stuff on the touchscreen. Next, what I want to do is show you these buttons right here are kind of your quick buttons. Just like these guys on the side, these buttons right here are just your quick tabs. So if you want to get to navigation real quickly, you can get to navigation as quickly as possible. Next is just getting to the car, the apps, the phone, all the different pages that we were showing you earlier going through the side. They're going to be accessible through here. So use CarPlay. It's as simple as that. So next we're going to start with your main keys in the center. These keys are going to control temperature stuff, climate control stuff, and the heated and cooled seats, your traction management control, and then off-road mode. You may or may not ever turn that on, but if you're ever in an off-road situation, definitely recommend turning it on. It'll display in the screen that you're in off-road mode. If you do leave it on a normal daily basis, your car will drive a little bit differently and you will notice it. So it's as simple as it looks. You just adjust the temperature by pressing here. If you want both sides to be the same, you just hit sync. And it should be pretty simple. I normally try to recycle the air because it doesn't smell as bad as the exhaust outside. Here's a big thing. Whenever you're having the air blow on you, if you don't feel it blowing right on your face, make sure that one is selected, because that's going to hit the face. This will hit the feet, and this will kind of hit the top of the windshield area, and it sometimes could start fogging up the windshield if you have only that one selected. So just be wary of that. Next is your parking button here. So this is going to be the emergency parking brake. It's different than the one you used to step on. In order to engage it, you pull it up. In order to disengage, you do foot on the brake and you press down, and the light will go away. Same thing on the right side, is all the same little buttons here. It's just kind of a mimic of the driver's side information. You do have this new one down here that if your car did come equipped with it, it's going to be your lane, just your lane change assistant. It's going to help you stay in the lane, and it's going to help you navigate in that lane. If you start hitting the lane, it'll start making a noise that sounds like a frog. This is the auto idle stop button. If you don't like when the car turns itself off, just make sure that you turn that button on, and you won't have the car shut down every time you're at a stoplight. Next, we're going to go to your main steering wheel control. Here's your volume. Simply just twist it and If you actually press it, it'll mute it. But let's turn it back up. Just like that. This is your answer button. This is your hang up button. This is a back button for that screen inside there. This little scroller right here will allow you to scroll through different information. Most people leave it on the map. You can click the scroller and it's going to bring up just more information. I like to keep mine in 3D map and auto zoom. Then I hit the back button and now you see we are there. I feel like what you probably want to do is do a manual zoom and use this little scroller to scroll out a little bit, so you kind of have an idea of kind of where you're at on even your little screen, in case you don't have the big screen going. So play with that a little bit. Here's the actual navigation. Information 2. There's the trip computer. Your TPMS, it won't work until you get to about 15 miles an hour, then it'll tell you how your tires are doing. Here's your torque split. As you're driving, you'll see where the torque is coming from in the front and the back. And then there's that chrono page I was telling you about. This typical vehicle information, and then that's the current radio station you're on audio. Apple CarPlay is connected. Next is this little button right here. It'll allow you to, when you spin it, it takes you into sport mode. Then it takes you into Sport Plus, then it takes you into individual mode. And you can actually hear the exhaust notes change whenever you flip through the different buttons. There's also a little button here in the center. If you're cruising and you want to go extra fast, you can simply press the button and the sport response page comes on. What it's going to do is it's going to give the car everything it's got for that 20 seconds. And you can be in any mode while you do it. And I'm telling you, it's really fun. I definitely recommend trying it. All you gotta do is press the button. It'll go for 20 seconds and give it everything you got. You can even just turn it off by simply pressing the button if you're scaring your wife or something. Very simple.